Hello and welcome to another Purveyor of Light Photoshop quick tip. Today we're going to cover some techniques, so to speak. Versus than just doing a complete edit, we're going to just show you techniques that you can use for your photos in the different situations that you cross. Today we're going to concentrate on when we have photos that have dappled light, blown out highlights, glows, things of that nature. Highlights that have been gone too far that ruin the photo, like you see on this gentleman's head here and so forth, on the hand. If we turn around and we look at another photo, you can see hot spots here on her forehead, just above the eyebrow. A little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit of glow on the nose, right? All these distract away from a good photo and require different attention. So one of the things is we have tools in Photoshop, and there's just no one right tool to do all these jobs, okay? And that's why Photoshop doesn't give us just one tool. It gives us a multitude. So if I click down here, you'll see that we have tools. We have the spot healing tool, the healing tool, the patch tool. Okay? Now, each one has its pluses and its minuses. And so therefore, that's what this video is about. It's about understanding each individual tool, when to use which one, and the benefits and lack of benefits for some of them. Okay, so let's start out here. The spot healing tool. Okay, so if we select that, that is a tool that is going to require us to go over the area, and you see it didn't do a very good job. Okay, and it does good for small areas, little touch-ups and things like that, but for larger areas, I'm going to come in here and I'll just cover this area, and it did okay, but it's kind of messed up the texture, and it's kind of made the colors muddy. It's just not working very well for such a large area. So that's the number one problem with this one, but it's great for small things or touch things. The other one is just the healing tool. Now this one I call the finesse of healing, okay? And that is, we can come in and we can really target a small area and get great results, because we want to turn around and keep the texture, the skin, and we want everything to look natural. We don't want everything to get muddy. And this is one of the great things where this is at. I come over here into this one here, and you can see, we'll just take our nose for now. It's a nice simple area. This is an example where I would use to just dapple this one. So with that healing brush, I select an area to sample from by holding the Alt or Option key, and then I just simply paint the hotspot away. And you see how natural that looks, even up close. Command Z to bring that back, you see? So that's one of the advantages of this. The other advantage is you can turn around and work on a separate layer, and that is invaluable. Okay, so if I create a new layer here, okay, that means I can work on this layer and do the healing without affecting the original image. And that's great for mistakes and things that you have to undo. So one thing you have to do is you've got to make sure that you're up here on your toolbar. You've got to make sure you're checking for current and below. Okay, current and below, so that this way it'll sample from the layer below. So if we come in, we do this, it's going to sample from the image below us, and then we just simply paint it in there. And this way, the change is on this layer. You see? It's on its own layer, so it's non-destructive to the main picture. It really helps us out if we have to undo something or touch up something. Okay? Now, the other thing is, the last part of the tool here is the patch tool. Now, the patch tool is for very large areas, okay? If you want to do a very large area, I'm going to jump back to the other photo. And we have very large dappled light on the gentleman's head here. And this would be a real problem for us to turn around and do. But the way the patch tool works is I can turn around and select the area that I want to patch out. And then just simply drag and therefore it gets put and replaced. It does a really nice job. Now, the problem with this is I can't work on a new layer. So if I try to put a new layer on this image, and then I take the patch tool and I come in here and I do the exact same thing. Okay, and now I'm going to drag it, and it says, nope, can't do it. Because there's no pixels, there's nothing to do. So the patch tool has the disadvantage of that it has to work on the full image. So, in other words, you're going to either have to make a duplicate of the image, or you're going to have to make a stamp layer. It's unavoidable, and that's one of the biggest downsides to the fill. Okay, again, it's not the end of the world, but it's just something you need to know when you're working with these things. So, duplicate the layer. Now you have the ability to work with this. And again, because you're working with such a tool here, this is designed for large areas. So you can quickly do and drag over. And it does a wonderful job. And so you can come in and take these dapple lights, highlights right out just by turning around and repositioning. And in a matter of a couple strokes here and there, and using a combination now, right, of what tool will work best. I have a dappled light here on the hand, and for this one, would the patch tool be the best, or would be the healing brush or the spot healing brush? Let's try the spot healing brush for this one. Okay, sample all layers, but I'm going to change the blend mode to darken. Okay, now this is going to say anything that is lighter than what I select will be darkened. And that's exactly what we want for hotspots, right? So if I sample here, and healing. If I sample here, and you notice that it's taking the texture and everything from that area. You can see it gives you a preview on the so now if I turn around and I dab in, I now have that done, and you can see the before and the after. Okay, so like I said at the beginning, there is no one method or one way to fix all problems. You have to look at the area and then determine which tool is going to be the best way to fix it. Look at this highlighted here on her cheek. ask yourself, what would be the best tool to work with this? Would it be the patch tool? Well, let's find out. So if I select that and I come over the area, and I say okay, and now I gotta be on a separate layer because there's no pixels there. So I have to do it on the original. So if I come over, well, that didn't work out too well, did it? I lost all the skin texture, and things became muddy. And that, so in this case, the patch tool is not going to be my best friend for this choice. So this is how it works. So you're going to really have to think, experiment as you go. And as you get experience, you're going to be able to determine which one of these three methods are the best for each situation. Okay? So again, if I turned around and said, okay, I'm going to take the spot healing tool and see how that would do here. I can put that in another layer, sample all layers, and I say, well, how do you do? And come in and get all the highlight marked. And look, it became smudgy. It became muddy. The colors, the texture, it just didn't work. So there, I'm showing you exactly how we determine the best tool, the best technique for doing it. In this case, the healing brush. Okay, now it's a question of setting it to darken, current and below, and now we sample a layer by hitting the Alt or Option key, and then we paint. And you have to do this quite a bit. Sample and paint. So it's very time consuming. All right. But you're going to get a quality result. As you can see here, what I'm doing, holding the Alt key, sampling, painting, and you get great results this way. Okay. And you still get to keep the thing. Now, one last thing too is the last thing you can do is you can fade your effect, okay, by hitting that. The trick with this is if you do anything, click the mouse off to another layer, do anything, you won't be able to activate the fade. You have to just do the healing and then come up and hit edit fade. And so then you can come in and you can blend this so that the skin texture comes back in. Okay, I'll show you here. Yeah, I'm going to go all the way to 0, and you can see how much that blends. And you can make it almost undistinguishable on what you do. And so that's how you would do a quality retouching like that. And again, each area, each highlight, it's going to be a different scenario. So look at this area. What would be the best tool? Well, maybe the patch tool. So I have to go back onto the background and I select the patch tool. I have to be incredibly careful that I don't go into the hairline. And I drag it over. That didn't look too bad. Do a little bit of spot I missed here. And deselect, and I'm too dark. And so again, this is, like I said, not a full retouching, because if I was doing retouchings on this, I would be here, for an hour, and you don't want to watch an hour video of retouching. The technique is there, okay? You can see the dapple lights here. We touched them up by using the different techniques, the one that was on the hand and that. And it's the technique I'm teaching you, not doing a full edit. So hopefully you get the concept, and you'll be able to go in when you see one of these problems appear in one of your photos. You'll be able to say, okay, I know how to fix this. And you'll get better. You'll get more experienced as you go through. Okay? And you'll be able to solve more problems. Because just look at this little area I did here right on his forehead. Okay? Doesn't look like it's going to make a big difference, but look what a difference it made by removing those hotspots, that dapple light. It makes a huge difference to the portrait. So these little edits make big differences. All right. So hopefully I didn't bore you too much this week, but again, it's a great technique, and going between those 3 tools, like I told you, okay, it's going to save you and give you quality work. So the spot healing tool, the healing tool, and the patch tool. Those are your friends. So, till next week, guys, you guys take care.